Okay, so welcome to my first entry in the Startropics 2 Speedrun Guide. My name is Tantalus. Streaming from our channel live, TantNJess, and I am running Startropics 2 at Summer Games Done Quick 2021. If you're watching this video, before then or after then, that's around when this was made. The goal is to kind of go through the tricks and tips and things that make this game difficult and easy in some cases. And I'm going to go chapter by chapter, with the exception of the first. We're going to cover chapter 1 and chapter 2. Sit back, relax, and we'll walk through the whole thing as a unit here. So I'm going to try and keep my hands visible in this cam up in the top left, where you can see our little MagFest sign there. So here's my controller, so you can see my inputs. And then I'll be looking at you directly as best as I can here. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to put in is that Startropics 2 doesn't have any kind of noticeable impact for time of power console on, or there's no like RNG values that are dependent on starting the console and doing things like Mario 3 has this, Metroid has it, I believe. Certain and so I think like maybe Legend of Zelda does as well. So they start their timing on console power on in some cases. We don't do that. We start right on the file select here. As far as we know, file names do not impact your run either. So you can name it whatever you want. And once you've named your file, you're ready to go. So we'll cover chapter 1 and chapter 2 the first episode. I'm going to hit go. I would normally hit the split to go. My finger was on it to hit it, but we're not actually doing it. So chapter 1 is just a text dialogue section. What you're going to see me do is you're going to see me buffer A inputs to get through the text. So like this. So I'm only pressing A each one time before the arrow. But as long as you press and hold A before the arrow pops up on the bottom of the text box you see there, you'll be in good shape. You'll automatically press A on the first actionable frame. So everybody can learn how to do this chapter frame perfectly. It's really easy. And this is the same as Startropics 1, the dialogue. So if you're familiar with it from there, you'll be familiar with it from here. Startropics 1 actually has more dialogue prompts. There was one in that section, but the default answer was the right answer. There are situations in Startropics 1 where you have to do a double buffer with you press this and do an input that way. But we don't do that really in Startropics 2. You never have to do a buffered input in a direction. So you pretty much are just going to buffer A in the dialog boxes here. So this is chapter 2. It kind of goes right into it. What you're going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and save state once I get up here to the pit. Alright, so what this select an A is my save state. Oops, you guys didn't see that. So if you see that, that's what I'm doing. When you press select, it brings up this prompt, which I actually will use in a little while, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So you're going to walk a specific path. There's certain spaces that throw you into a mini dungeon here. The easiest thing to do is just memorize the path. It's up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. So up, right, up, left, left, up. And then this is 2 left, down, 1 each time. Left, left, down, left, left, down, left, left, down, left, left, down. If you do it that way, you'll be fine every time. I'll go ahead and load it back and just do it quickly. So you can see, you don't have to, you'll take it slow at first, and then once you have it figured out, you can burn your way through it pretty quickly. So that's the initial area. We had in the first village of the game. Unlike Startropics 1, most of the time you do not have to talk to everyone. The only person you must talk to is this person here. This person's name is Tink. And Tink wants you to try his axe out. He gives it to you for free. I will demonstrate what you need to know for the puzzle coming up. You're supposed to go up to this wall up here and memorize the shapes on here for a puzzle in the dungeon. But I already have them memorized, but If you want to take a screenshot and then use that as reference, by all means, go for it. But otherwise, there is no one else in this village you have to talk to. Nothing you really need to do. So we're just going to head straight to the dungeon. The dungeon, the first room would let you go in it without the weapon, but you can't defeat the enemies and proceed on, so you'd be stuck there. So I'm going to go ahead and save state before I walk in the first room, because the first room is timing. Alright, so I'm just going to cover some basics on movement for this game really fast, since this will be the first episode, more or less. You can walk in 8 directions, so you can see Mike can walk in all 8 directions. He loses nothing for walking at 2 at once. So if you walk up and right, you're better off to do that. He does lose when you change directions. You see it takes a frame or two for him to switch directions, like that. You can do it pretty quickly, but he does lose time depending on which directions you're changing. So if you're in a situation where, let's say I came in the room this way, you want to try and walk up to the room this way and just keep walking up left without switching direction. Also, this game, you can jump in free movement. In Startropics 1, you could only jump gaps when there was gaps to jump. In this case, that's not the case here. So there's lots of free movement. And there's also a height component to this game, which you'll see in the second room of the dungeon here, where throwing weapons on the ground versus throwing weapons in the air is a different height point, and certain enemies are tall enough to get hit by those shots. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed for the first room. This is just a pretty simple. You're going to walk forward, trigger these boars like that, and then that boar is RNG, that fourth one. But you basically are going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And sometimes he walks over here, sometimes he walks this way. If he walks towards you, you just get better RNG. Now the next room I'm going to cover a little something. It's I call it Jess skip or YOLO skip. I died there. But if you throw, if I have to get it once for it to be demonstrated. There it is. So that is what's called a void walk, and I'll explain more about the void walk in just a minute. But I don't recommend going for that skip. I just recommend proceeding the room like this. Jump over this diagonal corner, and then doing a short hop off the platform, and then walking right through here. That's the easiest and simplest way. That shortcut I showed, doing that void walk, doesn't really save you any time. It may save you a little bit if you're feeling sly. But your goal is just to walk through this room. Now, if you're just learning this game, the normal route through this area is to walk around this room in a ring. If you were to walk up to this room right here, you would see that there's no way to make it across, right? You can do some things, but you can't get over there, and they want you to come this way and jump on these blocks. If you're new to the game, I recommend just going ahead and doing this jump the first way, because it's a lot easier, it's a lot simpler, it's a lot safer. But if you're learning the speedrun at a competitive level, you're going to want to learn how to do the void walk, and this is why I waited till now to explain this. What you're going to do is, when you enter this room, you're going to walk straight diagonal up. It does not matter which way you face the room going in. I could go face it this way. This will still work, as long as you do that. So what you want to do is you want to walk diagonally up, and then you're going to do a set... Oh, and I messed it up because I haven't done this in forever. A set buffered input. Like this. And you can walk and jump across the water. Now what the heck just happened? So what happens here is I'm doing a preset positioning movement to put myself in a position where that warthog will charge me, and I can do a jump and land on him. So what happens is when you touch the water, or a pit in this game, when you touch the pit, what happens is it checks if you're alive every other frame. It does not always check. So what you want to do is hit it on those in-between frames. And if you touch the pit on the same frame, you get registered as taking damage. You'll take damage first, and you won't die. So you'll be sitting on the pit or the water. So what we're doing is a preset positioning. We do a jump buffered up B, which I'll demonstrate it here. Jump buffer. When you come up in the room, you're going to do this, this, and that. So I'll demonstrate it again. It's this, this, and this. What that does is because Mike can't change directions instantly when he throws a jump weapon, he'll turn exactly at the right point to land in exactly the right spot we need him to be in, so that when we do this diagonal walk, the boar will charge us. And when the boar charges us, we're gonna use that to set our damage frame. And you can see I did a little claw grab on the controller there. So I'll try to make sure I get a really good view of this. Oh, I was off kilter there. It's in the wrong position. Okay, so 1, 2, whoops. Like that. That's how I have made it through that section. So I'll do it one more time so you can get another good look at it. You can't see the D-pad, can you? Let me try to get that a little bit lower. Whoops. So I'm diagonal up. I'm going to do a jump up B. Like that. So I know that's hard to follow. I wish I had the technology to put button inputs on the screen, but I really don't. So that's how you get through that section. I'm going to do it one more time without focusing on the camera shot, really. Whoops. I'm going to die here. That's fine. You can sometimes make that work if you fail it, but there we go. So I'm save state here, so we can go to the next room. So if you're just learning, I recommend going ahead and taking the long route, jumping around this level, but that shortcut's not too bad to do once you get the hang of it. So it just takes a little bit of practice. The next room, these bears are going to take 5 hits each. I recommend killing the middle one first. Whoops. And they do a lot of damage if they touch you. They do 2 hearts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then react to this one. Now, one thing you'll see here is that Mike looks like he's going to run on the wall, but the game pushes him. We're going to use that in the run, but there's a certain position where Mike will just get pushed against the wall. The wall will just push him into the doorway. We use that in the run extensively. So in this room, you want the boar to charge you first. So it's actually important that you, and I'll save state and demonstrate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I just walk diagonally up, this boar won't charge me. Well, I guess he did there. I guess it's not guaranteed. Yeah, and then you have to change direction a bunch of times. So you want the boar to charge you first, and then walk around it. Now this room tests you a little bit because you can obviously take the long way, but it's the game's way of teaching you how to do the free jumping, because that wasn't in Startropics 1. So what you're going to want to do is jump across these blocks. Just doing it for the first time actually is going to require a pretty decent amount of practice, but you also don't want to always jump at your full height. You'll have to get the feel for that. I can't really tell you how much you don't need to spend on your height jumps here, but you do want to try and not jump the full height, but you don't jump so shallow that you can't make the jump. So sometimes you will get hit by that snowman there. That's not a big deal. If you do get hit by the snowman, just try to only get hit once and walk through him. But if you do the room fast enough, you should never have to actually deal with that snowman. It is hard to do it because you have to time all your short hops right, but it is possible to get through without ever having to be bothered by him. So, but it is RNG, and for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and demo that. There we go. And see, I messed up, but I actually made it. I was faster than the snowman there. I just messed up and walked against the wall for a second. Okay. Now the next room, we're just going to walk around here. No big deal. You do not have to kill him, but these are 8 shots apiece. And so you see, I actually fired an extra shot there and there. And then I actually messed up, like, doing an optimal pattern. What you want to do is try to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, whoops, I messed up my buffer there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops. That's actually pretty good. If you got that, sometimes you miscount and you have to react. So I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the backup pattern. If you think you're gonna get hit, it is much better to not get hit and stand back. You do not want to take any damage from those bears, and they will kill you almost instantly. All right, so the pattern here, it's very simple. You can just you can memorize it, take a screenshot of the earlier spot, but it's circle, circle, triangle, square, circle to square, triangle. And I walk exactly this way to minimize my directional changes. So I do the diagonal walking. Here I'm going to walk to the right first, then go diagonal up. Then I'm going to go just diagonal down. So this should be square, and then the last one's triangle. Alright, so now we're getting close to the boss. This room coming up, you're going to go straight for the door. It is possible that once again the snowman will get in your way. If it does, just let him hit you and walk through. It is always better off to do that. I don't know if he'll come over or not. Let's see. No, he didn't. Now this room, you're gonna walk down first, and when we get past that boar, switch to going up this way, and you should be clear every time you do it that way. You just do this, and you should never have a problem. This boar should never ever get in your way if you do it exactly that way every time. You shouldn't have to jump or kill any of them. Saves you a bit of time there. Now, the boss coming up is Yum Yum. Requires a bit of buffering. He also has 2 ways to fight him. If you kill his snack, he gets really angry, see? And then he gets real mad at you, fire shots really fast. And actually becomes, a relatively difficult boss to defeat. Fortunately, we don't have to do that. We can just go up to him and not kill his snack. And what you're going to see me do is try to buffer the attack so that I kill him as quickly as possible. You basically, if you kill him before he moves, you've done it pretty close to perfectly. And it's been a while since I've done this, so... There you go. That wasn't too bad. So there you go. That is Yum Yum defeated. I'll demo it one more time, but it's pretty simple. You're just looking to get up to as close to the skulls as you can and buffer axe shots. And this is a buffered timing. This is not mashing as fast as I can. As you can see, if you ran it with the turbo button, it would actually be much slower. So we will go ahead to our victory screen. I guess I could demo. Well, it would be hard to demo the Yum Yum glitch that you can do there. It's not really practical in any way, but maybe I'll come back to it as like a bonus clip. But and that's the end of the dungeon. So you want to go straight up to the exit there. Nothing more than that. Now there's one more glitch to this chapter that we're going to try and do. I'm going to show you my method. If you can come up with a method that's better than this, by all means, I recommend you do it. So what's going to happen is when you get to this tile, the next tile right after this one, these kids are going to come down and trigger a text dialog box with you. I mentioned earlier that pressing select brings up this prompt. What happens is there's a 1 out of 60 frame window that you can hit the select on the walk frame there, and you'll get the kids to come down, but the chapter 2 dialogue pops up at the top, and you'll see that here once I demo it. That actually will get the kids to walk off and trigger their exit sequence before their dialogue is done, which saves you about 2 seconds if you can get it. I've tried to learn a timing that works out. I couldn't really get anything to work, so the only thing I do is what I call a silly mash, and I'll just mash select between the tiles. So as Mike's walking from one tile to the next, like that, I will start mashing select and hope I get it. So let's see how well that strategy works. There you go. And I got it. So what happens is they come down like this. Now, obviously I wouldn't save time unless I reacted quickly here, but what you're going to do is you're going to press right when that happens, and you see the screen got the zeros and gets a little glitchy. They walk off while they're talking to you, so it saves you the 2 seconds of them doing that walk-off animation. So I'll try to do it again. Missed it. That's totally okay, though. It is a... trying to get it. There we go. Like that. That's what you want to do. So you're going to press right so that Mike walks over and triggers the dialogue sequence so that they walk off. And the screen gets black, but it's fine. There's no big deal. Like that. So that's why I do the mash, because it's the most effective method that I've come up with. It's the only thing that I could put together. So there it is. Alright, so you've got a block. It looks a little bit familiar, like a piece from a famous puzzle game. And then the rest is just walking to the end and doing more text dialogue buffers, which you'll see in just a moment here. And walk to that tile, the game automatically triggers this cutscene. And you're going to go ahead and do the dialogue boxes. Bum, 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 bum. It will increase your life. Now, this is an important piece of information to discuss. At the end of every chapter, the game does refill your health from bottom up. So, the less health you have, the more time it takes to refill your health. So, damage boosting isn't always helpful. The reason I told you to damage boost through the snowmen was because they do 1 heart of damage, which is about 1 second of time of refill. Throwing 3 axes is actually a little bit slower than 1 second, so which is how many hits it takes to hit them. So it is a better time compromise. If you had to take damage versus killing the snowman, you might as well just take the damage, because at least you'll take the 1 damage and you'll get through. Sometimes the snowman can wiggle around, cause you trouble. So that's why I recommend taking the damage boost if you have to. That's also a consideration when you're doing skips like void walks. You don't want to take too much damage doing a void walk, because then you lose that time that you saved doing it, refilling your health at the end of the level. So just key things to keep in mind as you go through and learn the game. So once you're through here, you go ahead and hold A, and you say, whoa, that's radical. And then we're in the end of chapter 2. So that's the chapter 2 guide. Chapter 1 and 2 guide, I should say. I hope that was very helpful in just getting a feel for the game and the mechanics and how the tricks work, as well as seeing the inputs for some of the void walks. So we're going to do chapter 3 right now on the stream. So for when I put this on YouTube, if you want to see chapter 3, it'll be right after this. So until then, see you next time.